It had to be a player-centered culture. A player-centered culture, something I truly do believe in. My responsibility is to get the most out of the players, to work with them, teach them, mentor them. If I have to do it one by one, I most certainly will do it. I've done it in the past, and I'll do it again. I'll do what I can to help these young men become not just the players we want, but the men in the community we need. These are the guys that can help change things, not just on the football field, but in this world. And I really do believe that. I was fortunate enough to have that in Carolina, and I hope, and I'm going to work to have it here in Washington. Things will begin and end with one simple principle: discipline. I come from a military family where discipline, it isn't taught, it's lived. It's expected from day one. I have a philosophy that every player, every coach, everyone who works for this organization, they'll know it day one. You're not going to play for this team. You're not going to work for this team if you don't have the discipline and the commitment to give us everything you have. No exceptions, no excuses. It's that simple, guys. We have to hold each other accountable. And that's something that we most certainly will do. We'll expect the most from each other. Whether I was in Chicago or Carolina, we're at our very best when the players knew that the coaches had their backs. And this is the thing I'm going to ask from the players. Do it the way we teach you. Do it the way we ask. You do it that way, the success will be yours. Okay? You do it that way, the success will be yours. If you don't, the success is going to be yours, but it's not going to be right. Why? Because if you fail, it's on you. Do it our way. Do it the right way. And if we fail, it's on me. Okay, it'll be on me, the head coach. It's that simple. And I truly believe that. If I ask of you and it doesn't work, I'm to blame. I told Mr. Snyder I wanted to assemble a coaching staff that was truly dedicated to the players and teachers. Okay? I don't have to have great big names. What I have to have is great teachers. We want to teach these guys how to play football to the best of their abilities, to the best of our abilities, and also to be good quality young men off the field. I want players who are tough, hungry, who will do whatever it takes to play Redskin football in January and hopefully into February. I told them I wanted to work hand in hand with the head of player personnel who could spot potential and others that even I didn't see and others didn't see. That's going to be important because it has to be a collaboration. No matter who it is, no matter who's working with us, it has to be a collaboration. This is not a one-man show. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to rely on people around me. I'm going to rely on the coaches and the personnel that we've put in place to help us put this football team together. I told them I didn't want to go through a 5-year rebuilding process because, quite honestly, I just don't have the patience. And from what I've read, neither does he, so we understand that. I told them this team has some raw talent. It really, truly does. It's got some quality veteran leadership that can help this team become contenders. So at the end of the day, guys, this is what the team's going to be made of. It's going to be made of good quality young football players and solid veteran leadership. Help us take this football team to the next level. So you know what he said? He said, Coach, I want this to be the last job you ever had in the NFL. I want you to go from coaching the Redskins to collecting Social Security. I'll turn 58 next week, so I'm getting close. But that sounded pretty good to me. And so I say for the very first time, okay, from the very first, where'd you guys hide it? All right, I guess there is no jersey. There's supposed to be a jersey up here. But you know as they say, hail to the Redskins. Let's roll, man. Let's go. Come on. So with that, I'd like to take questions. If there's any questions, be more than happy to. If not, appreciate you.
I think we got a couple, Ron.
Okay.
JP Finley, NBC Sports, Washington. We see Jack Del Rio here. You've talked about the coaching staff. You want teachers and leaders. How is it going filling out the rest of the staff and some of the folks here internally, namely Kevin O'Connell?
Well, we're in the interview process right now. You know, we've got several names that we've reached out to. We've gotten permission from some teams to bring some of these guys in, and we'll be going through that process now. Again, we're right in the middle of it. I shouldn't say in the middle. We're in the beginning of it, and it's going to take a little bit of time.
And then similarly with the front office, Eric Schaefer, Doug Williams, Santos, Kyle Smith, those guys, similar timeline?
Well, with those guys, it's really just about meeting them, getting to know them as we start going forward. As I said, everything that we do is going to be about a collaborative effort. There's no one pure authority on this other than the owner. But the key is really that we are going to collaborate, we're going to talk, we're going to work together, and we're going to come to decisions that we believe are best for this organization. Not best for an individual, but best for the organization.
Michael Phillips, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Yeah, I would imagine you've had some time to reflect on your time at Carolina. What are some of the things you've learned that you'll put into play now in this job?
Well, more so than anything else, it's about the players. If you've got players that are right, players that are where they need to be, players doing the things that they can do, you give yourself a chance to win. And one of the things that I really truly believe is that we as coaches have got to give these guys the opportunity and put them in position to have success. If we don't do that, we're failing the players. It all falls back on us. And as I said earlier to the guys, if you do it the way we ask and we have success, it's your success. If you fail, it's on me. But please don't do it your own way.
Ron, John Keim, ESPN. Dan brought this up about the coach-centered approach. You seem to appreciate that and the one voice. Why is that important to you and to an organization?
Well, I think because you don't want people going back and forth. Everybody's got, when we step into the room or we step out of a room, everybody has to be on the same page. Okay, it's like when Jack's going to put the defense together, we can't have one coach telling somebody something else as opposed to what Jack wants. That's just the way it's going to be. You know, we want everybody focused in on what their job is. I got a little bit of saying these guys are going to get tired of hearing it, but it's true. We need 11 guys doing one thing at a time, not one guy trying to do all 11. Do your job, man. We'll have success. I promise you that.
Ron, Rhiannon Walker with The Athletic. You mentioned the fact that this team has some young talent, some pieces to build around. As you guys currently look at it, Jack said that they're going to run a 4-3. How do you guys currently on the roster, what does it fit for the personnel, and what are some positions of need for the 4-3 for you all?
I think it fits very well. I really do. You look at the defensive line, and we've got guys that we believe can play the 1 and 3 technique already. We also believe we've got some guys that have played the outside linebacking position that are going to transition to playing the defensive end spots for us, specifically the 6, the 9, and the 5. So we feel real good about those guys. I like the linebacking core. I think it's a pretty solid group of guys. They run well and they play physical. What we want to do is get these guys playing downhill through their gap. We're going to play the run on our way to the quarterback.
Hey, Rod. NBC Sports Washington. When you look at Dwayne Haskins, he's going to be a big part of your success here in the next couple of years. What did you see from him out of year one, and what do you think he can become for this team?
I think he'd become a franchise-style quarterback. I do. I think it's going to be a time. It's a process, though. I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight, but I've been fortunate that several years ago we drafted a guy as the #1 pick, and we had a plan. And what we're trying to do right now is develop that plan for his development as we go forward. I also think there's a couple of good veteran quarterbacks that obviously going to get some opportunities to play as well. We won't know until we get ready to open up in September. So until then, everything's just a process. It's a working process. We can't get ahead of it. We've got to stay to the plan and make sure we're preparing ourselves properly to win football games.
Hey, Ron, over here. Les Carpenter at the Washington Post. A couple of things. First of all, why maybe not take some time after you get fired, to not say maybe a year or something to kind of recalibrate, and then secondly, why jump right away into a job rather than maybe kind of feel everybody out over the next few weeks? Well,
first of all, I had 4 weeks off. I'm ready to go back to work. I really am. I got tired of getting up and having to do dishes. So, I'm serious too. You guys think I'm kidding? I'm serious. Truth of the matter is. People asked me when I first got let go, I told everybody I wanted to get back into football. And they asked me, well, what is it that you're going to be looking for? And I simply said fit. Okay, I simply said fit. The timeline is that right after, I think it was Friday of the week I was let go, Mr. Snyder reached out to my agent. And so the two of them talked for a couple of days. And then I got a phone call from Mr. Snyder on Monday the following week, and we started talking. And we talked the first day for about 40 minutes, the second day for about 20. And then I went and I got a bunch of tape. And I've seen about 6 games these guys played, including the one that when I was in Carolina that they beat us in. And I had an opportunity to take a real good look at this team. And so I've got write-ups on every player that played in those 6 games. And that's why, it's part of the reason why I chose this team, because I did like what I saw. I watched the last 4 on television as well, and got an opportunity to see these guys fight to the end. The Dallas game, we got a little bit out of hand near the end, and it's understandable to a degree. But for the most part, the way they played, the way they fought, some of these young guys didn't know any better. They just knew they showed up and they played hard. That was impressive to me. Then the other thing was, in talking with Mr. Snyder, the thing that I got was that We talked about his vision, okay, his vision of getting back to the tradition of Washington Redskin football. And I was really impressed about that. We talked about the history of it. We talked about the things that have happened in the past that made this such a great franchise, that had fans that were rabid fans. I remember from when I played, we used to go to the stadium early, and there'd be all those folks tailgating and letting us know how much they appreciated us when we walked into the stadium. And it was a tough place to play, and that's what we wanted to bring back. That's what he wants to bring back, and I was really impressed by his vision. And then he shared with me his plan, and he shared with me the ideas that he had studied and understood. Like I said, the one where it's more of a coach-centered approach in terms of decision making. And again, as I said, I'm not omnipotent. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, I've got a group of men that I'm going to collaborate with. You know, all of our personnel people are very vital to our success because of the things that they've done in the last 3 drafts. That was one of the things also that Mr. Snyder asked me to do, was study those 3 drafts and look at those guys that are on that roster. And I did that, and I looked at the veteran guys that were there, that were leading this team, that were giving these guys some hope, some chances, being the mentors to these guys and showing them how things are supposed to be done. And I really liked what I saw, and I began to feel the fit. And the more we talked about the plan and the process that he was talking about, the more excited I got. This didn't happen overnight. This decision was not made on the 30th. Okay, this decision was made over a period of time of getting together with him, sitting down, spending probably 35 hours in the freezer. He has this room at his place that's just frigid, and I think he did it on purpose to make sure I stayed awake. So, but we went for 35 hours. I mean, really, we seriously did. We went through every aspect of the organization. That's what I was really impressed with, that he was willing to sit there and go through it piece by piece. And we truly did. I spent a lot of time getting to know the organization, getting to understand the structure of what he was looking for. So to me, again, as I said, it was hearing his vision, understanding his plan, and then learning the process of what he was trying to accomplish. And then I talked about my plan and what I wanted to do, and it really seemed to fit his very well. And so those, you know, the 4 weeks I was off, I was really only off for about 5 days, and then a couple other days where I snuck out to the golf course. But that was it. Other than that, I was really just kind of looking at these guys, trying to prepare going forward.
Ron, welcome. Chris Russell, 106.7 The Fan and SI. What's one or two of the things that maybe you want to do differently or better? You come with a lot of accolades, a lot of success in Carolina, but everybody always wants. That's good.
I mean it too. You know, one of the things that the only reason you become a head coach in this league, in my opinion, is to win. That's it. That's the bottom line. If you,
That's good.
I mean it too. You know,
That you learn, anything that stands out to you that you learn maybe about. He always wants to change something in their lives. Is there anything that stands out to you that you learn maybe about yourself?
win the Super Bowl.
That's good.
I mean it too. You know, one of the things that the only reason you become a head coach in this league, in my opinion, is to win. That's it. That's the bottom line. If you do it for any other reason, you're wrong. Okay, and that's what I want to do, and I really do. I'm not just saying it because I'm at a press conference. I say it because I truly believe that. Okay.